Let me ground this one first, because this is the kind of update that's ignore. In New Jersey, the state has officially named new leadership for two separate departments, a Department of Veterans Affairs and a Department of Military Affairs. That split is scheduled to take effect in January 2026. If your reaction is, okay, so what? That's reasonable. This isn't a new benefit. It's not a pay increase, and it's not something you need to react to today. But it is a structural change, and structural changes quietly shape how systems behave long before you feel them directly. For years, New Jersey handled veteran services and military operations under one combined department. One organization, two very different missions. What's happening now is a formal separation. One department focused only on veterans, and one department focused only on military affairs and the National Guard. On paper, that sounds administrative. In practice, structure determines who gets attention, who sets priorities, and how clearly veterans' issues are represented at the state level. This change isn't about personalities yet. It's about how the work is organized. Here's what's been announced so far. For military affairs, leadership will remain with Brigadier General Yvonne L. Mays, continuing as New Jersey's Adjutant General. Her role focuses on National Guard readiness, operations, and state military response. That side of the house is about active service, emergencies, and preparedness. For Veterans Affairs, the state named Vincent Solomino III as the first standalone commissioner of Veterans Affairs. He's a veteran himself, and he's already been overseeing veteran services inside the previous structure. That matters because this isn't someone stepping in blind. It's continuity with a narrower focus. States don't usually do this unless something isn't working cleanly. When veteran services are combined with military operations, veteran issues can quietly become one priority among many, instead of the primary focus. Splitting departments is often an attempt to say veterans need their own lane, their own leadership, and clearer accountability. That doesn't guarantee better outcomes, but it does change the terrain. And terrain matters when you're dealing with large systems. Here's an important reality check. Leadership announcements don't equal immediate change. Early phases of a split like this are usually about internal reorganization, staff alignment, budget separation, and defining authority. Actual impact shows up later in how clearly programs are explained, how smoothly state and county offices coordinate, and how quickly issues get resolved. That's why this isn't a good news or bad news update. It's an orientation update. State veterans departments are the bridge between federal VAA benefits, state programs, and county veteran service offices. When that bridge isn't clear, veterans feel it. Inconsistent answers, delays, confusion about where to go. A standalone Department of Veterans Affairs can reduce that friction if it's implemented well. That's why this change is worth understanding, even if there's nothing to do right now. I'm stopping the first part here intentionally because at this point, the most important thing is understanding the change, not reacting to it. You don't need to apply for anything. You don't need to call anyone. You don't need to assume this is good or bad yet. Now let's talk about what this kind of structural change usually affects in real life, slowly, unevenly, and in ways that aren't always obvious at first. So let's keep expectations grounded. When a state creates a standalone Department of Veterans Affairs, a few things can improve over time. First, clear ownership. When veterans' issues live in their own department, there's less bouncing between offices and fewer "that's not us" conversations. Second, priority setting. A commissioner whose only job is veterans issues has more leverage during budget discussions and policy planning. Third, coordination. State programs, county veteran service offices, and outreach efforts can become more aligned when there's a single chain of responsibility. In plain English, fewer handoffs, fewer mixed messages, and clear answers. If the structure is used the right way, if this split is implemented well, changes tend to show up first in a few areas. Communication. You may see clearer guidance about state programs, eligibility, and where to go for help. County coordination. Veteran service offices across New Jersey may get more consistent direction and support. Oversight of veterans' homes and housing programs. When veteran care facilities fall under a department focused solely on veterans, accountability tends to sharpen. These aren't overnight changes, they're incremental, but they're the areas to watch. Now, here's what will not change quickly. This restructuring does not mean state benefits suddenly expand, delays instantly disappear, every county office works identically overnight, or that federal VA issues magically resolve. Structure creates opportunity. Execution takes time, and state systems move deliberately, not fast. If anyone tells you this split means instant fixes, they're overselling it. This reorganization also didn't happen in a vacuum. New Jersey's veterans' homes and veteran housing support have been pressure points. A standalone veterans department means clearer responsibility, more direct oversight, and fewer competing priorities. If this structure works as intended, this is one of the areas where veterans should eventually see the most attention. Not immediately, but consistently. I'm not giving a checklist here on purpose. The right mindset is stay informed, watch how communication changes, notice whether answers get clearer over time, and don't assume silence means nothing is happening. Structural changes show up quietly before they show up publicly. If you don't live in New Jersey, this doesn't change your day to day benefits, but it does signal something broader. States are recognizing that veterans need dedicated focus, not shared attention. You may see other states move in this direction over time. When you zoom out, this change is about one thing: veterans having a clear advocate at the state level, not a shared inbox. It took a while to get here. Now, the real test is execution. And execution is what we'll be watching calmly, not reactively. If you're a New Jersey veteran, this is worth paying attention to, but not reacting too impulsively. Progress here will be measured in clarity, consistency, and follow through, not headlines. No rush, no pressure, just understanding. That's how you stay steady in a system that changes slowly but meaningfully.